talk on the law of attraction concept here. So what is happening is I have a specific desire in life, and let's say I'm trying to achieve that. If it doesn't, I blame myself that something is wrong, that I have negative beliefs, I have negative thoughts coming in. That's why this is getting manifested. So there's a lot of the blaming element. But when I then listened to you, I just felt like, oh, does that mean I have no control over life itself? Meaning then I'm not, is it that I'm not creating my reality? There's a little confusion there. So let's address that first.
Okay, so what I'm about to say may seem very radical, revolutionary. And if so, just stay with me as best as you can, and let's see how far we can go down the rabbit hole, okay? So you can't create your life. Not because you don't have, or apparently have, the powers that you have to think, to act, to move your hands and your arms, to write, to go places. The reason the law of attraction is incomplete is because it says, I create my life. But the reason that it's incomplete is not because you can't create your life, but because there is no you to do that. So it starts right away with a misunderstanding. The minute that you say to somebody, I can create my life, you've planted this misunderstanding, not about creation, but about the I. There is no I. There's only life. Right? If we were to dive deep into all of the great scriptures and mystical teachings and religions, whichever one you favor. For some people, it's the Vedas and the Upanishads. For some people, it's Buddha's Dhammapada, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, whatever. You get down to the core of them, they all say the exact same thing. There is only God. There's only the one. In the beginning, there was only God. There's only the one. So every separate entity that appears is just a projection from that one. This is just an illusion. This is just a movie. You can put your hand right through this. I can. So it's not that you can't create your life. It's there's no you. That's the thing to focus on. Something's creating life, apparently. Once again, it's just a projection. When you see a movie on the screen, you can put your hand up in the air and you can go right through the light and shadows that are projecting, and your hand will become a shadow on the screen. And you just blocked it. If you stand up, you can block the whole movie, right? It's just light and shadows. All of this, this is my backyard. It's just light and shadows. You know, you're all the computer, where you'll go today, it's just light and shadows. And so are you. You're an illusion too. I'm sorry to say, nobody likes being called an illusion, but it's true. You're just a projection of light and shadows. From the one, there's only the one, and all separate entities. That's the core illusion that all religions and spirituality would tell you. The core. So then somebody comes along and says, law of attraction, put nice posters up on your wall, visualize your future, visualize that Mercedes sitting in your driveway. in the big mansion that you just created. Visualize the next big love affair in your life. But there's no separate entity. There's no you. So who's going to do all of that? You know, people ask, stop me if I'm talking too much, by the way. If you want to ask more questions and have shorter answers, just let me know.
Continue. It's so nice to sit and listen to yourself. Please do.
People are always asking, how do I reach enlightenment? I mean, it's some version of that question. Even the question that's behind the law of attraction, how can I create my most perfect life? Wouldn't that just be another version of how can I get enlightened? How can I awaken? How can I have spiritual perfection, self-realization? And what I notice is that a lot of teachers, most of them, and a lot of scriptures, most of them, immediately go into describing how to do it. Oh, okay, you want to get enlightened? Well, here's what you do. You give up sex, you become celibate, you give up eating meat and become a vegetarian, you start meditating for at least a couple of hours at each sitting, at least 2 or 3 times a day. You should probably consider shaving your head and moving into an ashram and, you know, giving up all worldly possessions. And you know, eventually I'll give you a mantra. It'll be your own special mantra. That'll be $150, please. And, you know, you'll take that mantra home and you'll meditate on it. And you'll have to treat me as the guru, by the way. I hope I didn't leave that part out. That's key. You know, I'm your guru. I'm the dude. I'm the main dude in your life. And you have to revere me and pranam and touch my feet and all that kind of stuff. By the way, as I describe all of this, that usually happens when you start by saying you want to find enlightenment, I went through all of it. I am speaking about Teja's life experience. So everything I'm relating to you, I did more than once. My first awakening experience was spontaneous, and it happened when I was only 5. And from that point on, I knew that there was such a thing as being one with life, but I didn't know how to get it back. So starting in my teen years, I started looking for teachers, looking for the way back to enlightenment. How do I get enlightened? So usually the teachers and the scriptures say, okay, I'll tell you how to do it. Here's the manual, you know, here's the instruction manual that you get, like you get when you buy a desk from Amazon. You put this screw here and you put this dowel there and you put it together, right? Those are the wrong questions and answers. The first question, the big question, is not how do I get enlightened? It's who wants enlightenment? Who wants that? And accompanying that would be, why? Why do you want enlightenment? What's wrong with right now? What do you expect to get out of enlightenment? Who wants that? Because you see, if you answer those first 2 questions completely to the core, it's over. You're free. You're liberated. You don't even have to do anything. You never have to sit for 1 instant of meditation. You don't have to change your sex habits or your eating habits. And you definitely don't need to touch anybody's feet unless you like touching feet. But first you have to find out who wants enlightenment and why? But those are the two questions that nobody ever asks. Most teachers just immediately give you the instruction manual. I don't give instruction manuals because I know where that goes. I did it. It doesn't go. It doesn't work. So when you ask those two questions and you really, really stay with them, unflinching honesty. Oh, I guess the one that wants enlightenment, the one that wants to reunify with the source, with God, with Brahman, must be somebody who thinks he's not already united with Brahman. And that's a mistake. You can't not be united with Brahman. You are life. You can't break off like a broken off piece of life. Where would you go? Life is everything. So where would you be if you're not already one with life? Sort of kind of outside of the universe somewhere. No, you're already one with that. There is no separate who that needs to find anything or get anywhere. And then the second question, why do I want it? So I would say this would be a good question for us to ask everybody. Rather than me just tell you, you tell me. Why are you looking for enlightenment? Why are you looking for the law of attraction to bring you what you want in life? Why are you looking to be the creator of your day-to-day existence and what happens in it? I would say, Vishnupriya, if you're interested, we could let everybody answer that either in the chat or just better still, just open your microphone and speak it out one at a time. Maybe we could do the little raised hand icon on Zoom and one person at a time could say that. You all know how to push the little button that makes your hand raise, that signifies you want to speak. If not, just open your microphone.
Diana says, people want enlightenment because search for all knowingness to bring more happiness. But we can have all this happiness without knowing all this, what I've understood.
All knowingness and more happiness. Okay. Who else? Anybody else?
Grant, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. Vishnupriya, first off, thank you so much for doing this and for the invitation. I can only speak for myself. There's just always been this spiritual drive within me, even as a young child, and wondering what everything was about. And as I've gone through the course of my life, I would have to say honestly that probably the wish to become, back inclusive within all that is probably relief from the clinging on to those events that I have regrets over, clinging on to why I've never been able to manifest the business of enlightenment, which caught me in its claw like so many, and essentially wanting to be free of the constant buzz of anxiety that I seem to fall back into when I realize that it isn't everything that I had imagined in this life. And yet life is very sacred. It's such a gift, and we are here and we experience everything. And so now I am just every day conscious of that moment that I am here, I am thankful, and attempting to constantly fall back into being as opposed to falling back into I, and looking for that relief, which is with me at any moment.
So looking for relief, looking for omniscience and knowing everything, being one with everything. Anybody else? Don't be afraid, just speak your mind. Let's see, is that Anna? Did you raise your hand?
Yeah. And thank you for pronouncing it correctly. I'm not looking for enlightenment. I figure it'll come when it comes.
That's beautiful. Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you, Teja. Actually, I from the very beginning of my life, I was very curious about truth. So I actually came from an Islamic background. That means I was born in a Muslim family, but I was very curious about truth and the nature of life. I had lots of questions about traditional religions, and then once at certain point of my time, I actually I got out of my traditional religion and I don't practice any religion, but I was not also sure about the spirituality, that non-duality things, blah blah blah. So but I was fine without religion. But I was also always curious to know about things, to know about the truth. I should not say that I was arrogant, but I should say that I was very interested in knowing the truth. And then I somehow actually got into some day-to-day sufferings for my practical life, and then maybe I was searching for some self-help things and so on, and all of a sudden I was not looking for enlightenment, liberation things, but I was just trying to understand if this day-to-day suffering is real or earth. That is what I'm going through. So I was looking for some self-help things and some YouTube videos. And gradually I actually came across different things, self-help things, spirituality things. And I was actually a bit more attracted to spirituality and non-duality things, because the way and the message, the most of these speakers, including you, actually tried to convey, actually convinced my thirst, convinced my interest of knowing that ultimate truth. So you can say that it is now becoming part of, not to avoid the pain, rather it has become my interest because of knowing the truth, because it is touching the truth. That is what I was actually looking for from the beginning of my life. But recently I started looking at those spirituality things because of to get rid of pain, but now I am not looking for that. I'm just I have more interested to know the truth. Yeah.
So could we say that in a general sense, the why I am looking to have liberation, or whatever you want to call it, is because you feel dissatisfied, or you're suffering, or you're in pain, or you're anxious, as Grant said. For most people, there's always a undercurrent, isn't there, of restlessness and anxiousness about life. So we could probably say that. And so I just want to make sure everybody else has a chance to talk, Mahfuzar.
Yeah.
But there's something else you wanted to say?
Yeah. I just wanted to tell that one thing I have been sure, that I have been clear that enlightenment is not possible through efforts. So, through efforts, it is not possible.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So my question is, how were you before you had the desire?
Say again.
And this is for everybody.
Okay.
How were you before you had the desire for the law of attraction to change your life, or for enlightenment to change your life, or for your meditations to change your life? How were you the instant just before you had that desire? You were
Yes,
fine.
doing okay.
Yeah, you were fine. Everything was ideal. Your mind had no desire for something new to happen, something better, some improved version, the new and improved version of this. You were fine. There's a word for that in Sanskrit I like a lot. It's santosha. Santosha is contentment. You're fine. You're free. You're liberated. Then you overlay all this stuff on top of that. Oh, no, I'm not liberated. I'm not well. I don't have everything I want. I'm suffering. I'm anxious. I need more truth. I'm looking for the truth. That's a beautiful one that Mafusa was sharing with us, and also Grant, because, we can always say, well, the reason I'm looking for enlightenment is because I want the truth. You are the truth. This is it. This is it. There's no greater truth. But the minute you go looking for the truth, you leave the truth behind. And you drive yourself crazy. That's liberation. That's enlightenment. And as you look, you discover that first question, who am I, that wants this enlightenment, or that wants any change? If you think I'm going too far by saying enlightenment, you can use Vishnupriya's word bliss. You want bliss. You want a better life, whatever you want to call it. When you look to see who is it, you can't find it. How many of you can find your who? Now, I'm speaking to a very advanced group of spiritual seekers here, I can tell. So you guys don't need to be led through the initial stuff called I'm not my body, I'm not my mind, I'm not my thoughts, right? You all have been there. You've all done that, right? Obviously, you can't be your body, mind, or thoughts, because then who's the you that has them? Who's the you that's doing the act of possession and saying my thoughts, my body, my mind? Okay, who's that my? Well, that's me. Okay, show me you. Show me me. You can't show it to me. Go looking for it. Really looking for it. Spend the whole day looking for you. You can't find it anywhere. There's no you. It's just a concept of an identity. What would you say to me if I told you that what you call you, what you call your identity, is nothing more than memory? Nothing more than a string of thoughts that started from the time you could think all the way till now, that you have tied together into a nice thread. And it makes it seem like there's a continuous you, but actually there's no you. There's no continuous you. Go looking. After maybe, hi, sweetheart, somebody on her, some beautiful child. There's no you. If you go looking, you won't find it. So how could this you want anything? How could this you get anything? You couldn't do it. But you can be. You can just be. No resistance to anything. Just letting all of this energy flow through you. You can just be. The minute you just be, it's over. If I had anything I really would want to share, and I have shared this with Vishnupriya, and I would share it with all of you, stop waiting. This is it. This is bliss. It wasn't the name of this interview was How Do We Be in Bliss? This is it. Can you feel that right now? Get with me right now. Not just the smile on my face, I laugh a lot, all that kind of stuff. But really just drop in and feel this moment and everything in it. Don't deny any part of it. If there's a little bit of a pain in your lower back, include that. If there's a little bit of a question about how to live life properly or how to succeed, include that worry in there. Include all of the good stuff and all of the bad stuff, and just drop right here into this moment. So rich, so full. That's pure ecstasy. That's life. You are life. You've got nowhere to go and nothing to do. Life does all of it, and you are that. Have your bliss, have your liberation instantly. Now, after this is over, if you want to go spend a couple hours in meditation every day, and you want to do practices, and you want to do sadhana, and you want to have a guru, and you want to do all that kind of stuff, that's fine too. Go ahead, do it. If you want to sit on the couch and watch TV all day, that's fine too. Go ahead and do that. Neither of them have anything to do with enlightenment or bliss. Nothing. Bliss is what's happening right now. When you step out of the way and all there is what is, I can't even describe to you what that feels like. It's immeasurable. Somebody asked me the other day, can you say what that feels like? And I said, no, it's ineffable. And they kept bugging me to put it in some kind of language. I said, okay, when was the last time you had a really good orgasm? This was a man I was speaking to, and he had a wife. And he said, just a few days back, it was, my whole body was exploding with endorphins and joy, and it was amazing, and it lasted a while. Okay, multiply that times 1,000 and make it permanent, not just comes and goes. That's how I feel all the time. Every moment of the day. But I didn't do it by gaining something. I did it by losing something. And I had no control over losing that. It fell away by itself. And it fell away in spite of all of the practices and meditations and gurus and ashrams that I participated in, not because of.